The sun rises over London on a radiant July morning, casting a golden glow across the city's ancient streets. The air hums with the energy of a new day. Buses rumble. Church bells chime faintly in the distance, and the Thames sparkles under the dawn's embrace. Outside Buckingham Palace, the heart of the British monarchy, hundreds of tourists gather, their voices a chorus of excitement and awe. Cameras flash, children tug at their parents' sleeves, and the scent of fresh coffee from nearby vendors mingles with the crisp summer breeze. At the center of this spectacle stand the royal guards, resplendent in their iconic red tunics and towering black bearskin hats. They are the embodiment of tradition, their faces carved in stoic resolve, their movements precise as clockwork. To the crowd, they are living statues, symbols of a nation's enduring pride. But beneath the polished exterior of one guard beats the heart of a man who has seen the world's darkest corners. A man whose instincts, honed on battlefields, far from this ceremonial stage, are about to be tested. Staff Sergeant Rodrik Vale, a veteran of the British Army, stands tall among his comrades. His broad shoulders fill the scarlet uniform, and his weathered hands grip the polished rifle with practiced ease. At 42, Vale is no stranger to duty. He has served in the deserts of Afghanistan, where the air was thick with dust and danger, and in the jungles of Belize, where every shadow held a threat. He has faced insurgents, defused bombs, and carried wounded comrades to safety. Yet here, in the heart of London, he feels a different kind of weight. The weight of history, of expectation, of the eyes of the world watching his every move. The crowd presses closer, a kaleidoscope of faces from every corner of the globe. Tourists from Tokyo snap selfies, American families wave miniature Union Jacks, and a group of French students chatter excitedly about the changing of the guard. Children giggle, pointing at the guards' towering hats, while parents shush them, urging respect for the solemnity of the moment. The palace gates gleam in the sunlight, their intricate ironwork a testament to centuries of craftsmanship. Beyond them, the Union Jack flutters proudly, catching the breeze like a promise of stability in an ever-changing world. But amid this vibrant tapestry of humanity, something catches Vale's eye, a flicker of movement, a shadow that doesn't belong. His gaze, sharp as a hawk's, locks onto a small figure weaving through the crowd. A girl, no older than 8, her dark hair tied back in a loose ponytail. She wears a faded blue jacket, its sleeves too long, swallowing her small hands. Her steps are hesitant, her shoulders hunched, as if she's trying to make herself invisible. Beside her walks a man in a tailored charcoal suit, his polished shoes glinting in the sun. His hand rests on her shoulder, but there's nothing paternal in his grip. It's possessive, controlling, and it sends a chill down Vale's spine. The girl's eyes meet Vale's for a fleeting moment, and in that instant, the world around him fades. The chatter of the crowd, the click of cameras, the distant bark of a drill sergeant, all of it vanishes. Her eyes are wide, not with the wonder of a child on holiday, but with a quiet, desperate fear. It's a look Vale knows all too well. He saw it in the eyes of villagers in Kandahar, in the faces of refugees fleeing war-torn streets. It's the look of someone trapped, someone begging for rescue, without daring to speak. She raises her hand, a small, trembling motion, and Vale's heart skips a beat. Her fingers curl into a fist, pressing tightly into the palm of her other hand. It's not a random gesture. It's deliberate, precise, a signal Vale recognizes from his training in counter-trafficking operations. The international SOS for children in danger, a silent cry for help. In that moment, time slows. Vale's mind races, torn between duty and instinct. As a royal guard, his role is clear. Stand firm, maintain the dignity of the crown, embody the unyielding discipline of the British military. To break formation is unthinkable. a breach of protocol that could tarnish the reputation of his unit, his country, himself. But as a soldier, a man who has sworn to protect the innocent, he cannot ignore the truth staring him in the face. This child is in danger, and he may be her only hope. Vale's eyes flick to the man beside her. He's in his late 30s, with slicked back hair and a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. His suit is expensive, his watch a flashy Rolex. But there's something off about him, a predator's edge beneath the polished veneer. He leans down, whispering something to the girl, and Vale catches the words, sharp and menacing. When they ask, say your name is Sophie. Understand. The girl nods, her face pale, her lips pressed into a thin line. Vale's jaw tightens. He's seen enough in his years of service to know what fear looks like. And this child is terrified. Her sleeves, he notices, are pulled down over her hands, hiding her wrists. A memory flashes through his mind. A briefing on human trafficking, a slide showing how victims are often dressed to conceal bruises or marks. His gut twists. This is no ordinary outing. This is something far darker. The crowd surges forward, drawn by the sudden blare of a trumpet, signaling the start of the changing of the guard. Tourists jostle for a better view, their voices rising in a cacophony of languages. The man seizes the moment, tightening his grip on the girl's shoulder and steering her toward the edge of the square. She stumbles, her small frame no match for his strength, and Vale's pulse quickens. If he lets them disappear into the maze of London streets, he may never see her again. He scans the crowd, searching for an ally, a police officer, anyone who might intervene. But the nearest bobbies are stationed at the far end of the square, their attention fixed on managing the throng. His fellow guards stand like statues, their eyes locked forward, oblivious to the drama unfolding just yards away. Vale is alone in this moment, and the weight of his decision presses down like a physical force. The girl glances back, her eyes finding his once more. This time, her SOS signal is unmistakable. Her fist presses harder, her knuckles white with effort. It's a plea, a prayer, a last hope. Vold's mind flashes to his own daughter, Emily, safe at home in Kent with her mother. She's only a year older than this girl, with the same dark hair, the same wide, trusting ease. If Emily were in danger, Val would move heaven and earth to save her. How can he do any less for this child? The man pulls the girl closer, his fingers digging into her shoulder. She winces, and Vale's resolve hardens. Protocol be damned. He's not just a guard, not just a soldier. He's a father, a protector, a man who knows the cost of inaction. He's seen too many lives lost to hesitation, too many regrets, born of following orders, instead of following his heart. With a deep breath, Vale steps out of formation. The movement is abrupt, jarring, like a crack in the flawless facade of the Royal Guard. His polished boots strike the cobblestones with a sound that cuts through the crowd's chatter, sharp and commanding. Heads turn, gasps ripple through the tourists, and a hush falls over the square. To break rank is unheard of, a violation of centuries-old tradition. But Vale doesn't falter. His eyes are locked on the girl, his purpose clear. Stop right there. His voice is a thunderclap, deep and resonant, carrying the authority of a man who has commanded soldiers in the heat of battle. The crowd parts instinctively, creating a path between Vale and the man. The girl freezes, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. The man, caught off guard, spins to face Vale, his face twisting into a mask of indignation. What's the meaning of this? The man snaps, his accent clipped and polished, a perfect imitation of upper-class disdain. This is my niece, Sophie. We're just here to see the sights. Tell him, Sophie, the girl Sophie, or whatever her real name is, hesitates, her eyes darting between the man and Vale. Her lips tremble, but no words come. The man's grip tightens, and she flinches, a small, involuntary movement that speaks volumes. Vale steps closer, his rifle still at his side. but his posture radiating controlled power. He's unarmed in the ceremonial sense, but his training makes him a weapon in his own right. I need to see some identification, Vale says, his tone calm but unyielding. For you and the girl. The man's facade cracks for a split second, a flicker of panic in his eyes. He recovers quickly, forcing a laugh. Identification. For a day out with my niece. This is absurd. We're from Manchester, just here for the weekend. Tell him, Sophie. The girl opens her mouth, but before she can speak, a woman in the crowd steps forward. Her brow furrowed. She's middle-aged, with a sensible cardigan and a backpack slung over one shoulder. Excuse me, she says, her voice tentative but firm. I couldn't help but overhear that backpack. It has a name tag. It says Lily Bennett. A murmur ripples through the crowd. The man's smile falters, and Vale seizes the moment. He kneels before the girl, bringing his face level with hers. His voice softens, the voice he uses when tucking Emily into bed after a nightmare. Is that your name? Are you Lily? The girl's eyes fill with tears. She glances at the man, then back at Vale, her small body trembling. The square is silent now. Every eye on this fragile moment. Slowly, hesitantly, she nods. A single tear spills down her cheek. And then the dam breaks. She sobs, her shoulders shaking, her hands clutching the hem of her jacket. The man's composure shatters. She's lying, he shouts, his voice rising with desperation. She's just confused. I'm her uncle, I swear. But the crowd is no longer on his side. Whispers turn to accusations, and several tourists pull out their phones, recording the scene. Vale rises to his full height, his presence towering. Step away from the girl, he orders, his voice low and dangerous. The man hesitates, his eyes darting left and right, searching for an escape. Then, in a flash of desperation, he shoves the girl aside and lunges at Vale, a knife glinting in his hand. The crowd gasps, some screaming. But Vale is ready. Years of combat training kick in. His movement swift and precise. He sidesteps the blade, grabs the man's wrist, and twists it with a practiced motion. The knife clatters to the ground, and before the man can react, Val drives a knee into his midsection, sending him sprawling to the cobblestones. The crowd erupts in cheers, but Vale's focus remains on the girl. She's crumpled on the ground, her arms wrapped around herself, sobbing uncontrollably. Vale kneels beside her, his voice gentle. It's over. Lily, you're safe now. Two police officers push through the crowd, their radios crackling with urgent chatter. They take the man into custody, his wrists cuffed as he shouts incoherent protests. Val lifts Lily to her feet, keeping a protective arm around her as the officers approach. Her name is Lily Bennett, he tells them. She's from Manchester. You need to contact her parents. The officers nod, one already speaking into his radio, relaying the information. Lily clings to Vale's side, her small hand gripping the edge of his tunic. For the first time, her sobs begin to quiet, replaced by shallow, shaky breaths. The crowd watches in a reverent silence, many wiping tears from their eyes. The woman who spotted the name tag steps forward again, offering Lily a bottle of water from her bag. You're so brave, she whispers to the girl, her voice thick with emotion. As the police secure the scene, Vale's commanding officer arrives, his face a mask of stern disapproval. Captain Harrow is a man of tradition, his career built on upholding the impeccable standards of the Royal Guard. Sergeant Vale, he says, his voice clipped. You've broken formation. You've disrupted a centuries-old ceremony. Explain yourself. Val meets his gaze, unflinching. Sir, that girl was in danger. I couldn't stand by and do nothing. Protocol is important, but a child's life is worth more. Harrow's eyes narrow, but before he can respond, one of the police officers interrupts. Captain, if I may, this man's quick thinking likely saved this girl from a trafficking ring. We've just confirmed her parents reported her missing 2 days ago. We're bringing them in now. Harrow's expression softens, just slightly. He looks at Lily, still clinging to Vale. And then back at his sergeant. "We'll discuss this later," he says. But there's a note of respect in his voice that wasn't there before. Hours later, a helicopter touches down in a nearby field, and Lily's parents emerge. Their faces a mixture of anguish and hope. The moment they see their daughter, they run to her, dropping to their knees as she throws herself into their arms. The reunion is raw, unscripted, and heartbreakingly beautiful. Lily's mother sobs, clutching her daughter as if she might vanish again. Her father, a burly man with calloused hands, buries his face in Lily's hair, his shoulders shaking. The crowd, still gathered, erupts in applause, their cheers mingling with tears. Vale stands to the side, his arm bandaged where the knife grazed him during the struggle. He watches the reunion, his own eyes glistening. For a moment, he sees Emily in Lily's place, and the thought sends a pang through his chest. He made the right choice, no matter the cost. The next day, Vale faces a formal inquiry at the barracks. The room is stark, its walls lined with portraits of stern-faced generals. Captain Harrow presides, flanked by two other officers. The atmosphere is heavy, the weight of tradition bearing down on Vale's shoulders. Breaking formation is no small matter. It's a mark against his record, a stain on the honor of the guard. But as the inquiry unfolds, the truth emerges. The man who attacked Vale is linked to an international trafficking network. One the police have been tracking for months. Lily's rescue has provided critical evidence, a breakthrough that could save countless others. The officers listen in silence as Vale recounts the events, his voice steady but laced with emotion. He speaks of Lily's fear, her courage, and the signal that changed everything. When he finishes, Harrow leans forward, his hands clasped. "Sergeant Vale," he says, "your actions were a direct violation of protocol. The Royal Guard exists to uphold tradition, to project strength and discipline. Your decision could have compromised that image." Vale nods, accepting the rebuke. "I understand. See, but I couldn't let her disappear. Not when I knew what was at stake." Harrow pauses, his eyes searching Vale's face. Then, to the surprise of everyone in the room, he stands and extends his hand. "You made a choice," he says, "and it was the right one. There are moments in life when our duty to humanity outweighs even the oldest of rules. You've reminded us of that." The room is silent, the weight of his words sinking in. Harrow continues, "For your courage and quick thinking, you will receive a commendation for valor. And rest assured, your actions will not go unremembered." Vale shakes his hand, a quiet pride swelling in his chest. As he leaves the barracks, the sun is setting over London, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. He thinks of Lily, safe with her family, and of the countless others still out there, waiting for someone to see their silent cries for help. He knows he can't save them all, but today he saved one, and that's enough. In the days that follow, the story spreads. Newspapers call Vale a hero, a soldier who defied tradition to save a life. Tourists at the palace whisper his name, pointing to the spot where he stepped out of line. But for Vale, the real reward is a letter that arrives a week later, written in a child's careful handwriting. It's from Lily, thanking him for giving her back her life. Tucked inside is a drawing of a girl and a soldier, standing side by side under a bright yellow sun. Val tucks the letter into his pocket, next to a photo of Emily. He's due to return to his post tomorrow, to stand once more in the shadow of the palace. But now he carries something new, a reminder that even in the rigid world of duty, there's room for compassion, for courage, for humanity. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of Manchester, a little girl named Lily sleeps soundly, dreaming not of fear, but of a world where heroes still exist,